They were messed up. And as a result, the world had lost hope and light, and it was becoming a darker and darker place. And the result of all of that was it was dangerous to live for the one true God. And that's what was going on in Israel. It was dangerous to go public with your faith for the one true God. So most people didn't. Most people who believed in the one true God practiced their faith in secret. They literally went into hiding. That's what we read this morning in 1 Kings 18. We see a man, Obadiah, who was very loyal to God, and he hid 100 people in caves. If you read in 1 Kings 19, you'll see that 7,000 people hid in caves. And as a result, they lived ordinary lives, lives very below what God had intended them to experience. Those who were called prophets, those who were called to proclaim the name of God, did this to a dark culture. Those who were called to bring light into darkness and hope into hopelessness were hiding in a cave. Now, may I ask you a question? What good is it for someone who has been called to proclaim truth to hide in a cave? It's worthless, isn't it? It's worthless. And what we know about these people is we don't know very much. We don't know their names. We know very little except for one thing, that those people were hiding and they made no difference. Why? Because you don't make a difference proclaiming truth in a cave. You don't make a difference living out light in a cave. Now we know this about them. They were loyal to God. They were believers. They believed in the one true God, but they were hiding. They were taking a stand, but they were hiding. They were living ordinary lives. Sounds a lot like our world today, doesn't it? I mean, if you think about it, if we're honest about it, most believers, most people of faith, keep quiet about their faith. They keep quiet about their faith in the marketplace, in their jobs, and in the community. I mean, I hear people always saying, well, my faith is my own private business. Many of us are making the church a cave where we can hide our Christianity. I mean, think about it. The prophets hid in the cave. In the caves, they loudly proclaimed their faith. In the cave, they were saying we are God believers. They quoted verses of faith. They sang songs of faith. They taught the truth of faith in the cave. But outside of the cave, where the songs were needed and the truth was needed and hope was needed, they kept silent. And the world was becoming darker and darker and more immoral and more perverse and more in despair and more hopeless, because hope was locked in the private places, in the hidden places, in the secret places. Isn't that what's happening today? Here's my problem with the whole thing about secret faith and a secret relationship with God. It doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. I mean, if you've really experienced a God who has taken you from hopelessness to hope, from brokenness to healing, and has given you the spirit of joy, how can you keep silent? If you have really met this real God who is present and powerful and fulfills his promises, how can you keep quiet? You can't. You can't keep quiet. There's just no way. Elijah couldn't keep quiet. He had experienced the living God. He knew that God was the answer for the Israelites, and he couldn't keep quiet about it. And so Elijah came out of hiding and took a stand because he lived a life of a different kind. Here's a truth that we need to grab onto. Life of a different kind can't be lived in hiding. Life of significance and meaning and impact, lives that make a difference, can't be lived out in secret. To make a difference for God demands going public with our faith and with his truth and with his promises. We have to become Jesus followers that make life of a different kind.